By the end of this video, you will have learned one technique that will help your Asperger child behave appropriately in a social situation. If you have ever worked with a child who has Asperger's Syndrome, you will know that it is not easy for them to act appropriately in a social setting or in public. Children with Asperger's find it hard, if not impossible, to carry on a conversation or take turns or share toys or say nice things. It is not the child's fault, they just do not understand how to act appropriately in social situations. This makes it hard to find and keep good friends. Here is tip number 1, social stories. Materials you will need for this include 1. Social stories, and lots of them. 2. Someone who can role play, and 3. Lots of practice. If you do an online search for social stories, you will find a lot of examples from many great people who have created these. Making a social story is to take a real-life example and put it in a story format. Use a favorite character theme to be the main character of the story. If your child loves spaceships or spacemen, use a character called Spaceman Jim or Astronaut Betty. If you want to train a child to raise their hand in class, show Spaceman Jim learning how to raise his hand in class. Here is an example. One day, Spaceman Jim was in class. It was the teacher's turn to talk, and she was teaching the class. Spaceman Jim had a question he wanted to ask the teacher. Spaceman Jim knew he shouldn't talk when it wasn't his turn. Spaceman Jim raised his hand. The teacher told Jim that it was now his turn to talk. Jim was able to ask his question and got an answer. Spaceman Jim felt good that he raised his hand so that he could ask his question and get an answer. In the end, Spaceman Jim raised his hand in class and was able to ask his question. So it is good to raise your hand in class when you have a question. Now you practice with your child. You will be able to find many websites that have existing social stories that will help you teach a child and train the child how to act around others. There are so many wonderful people who have created these stories to help. After a few weeks, the child will understand how to act in public on the social story they've been trained on. After you have practiced a story a few times, take your child in public and let them try out their new skill. It takes time to master certain skills, so don't expect miracles overnight. Your child needs practice and nurturing. The child is lucky to have you as a trainer. Try it. It is amazing to see a child learn about interacting with others by training them using social stories.